I get this lesson started. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, and I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from. This is your brother Radal, and a shalom to the elect and the hopeful elect, taking this truth, a new song, to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect of Yasharallah scatter to the four corners to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your brother Radal going in with the lesson, just going back into like some of the stuff that was brought up in camp yesterday. The Spirit's still speaking to me about just the fact that how, quote unquote, the kingdom of heaven, the rulership of Yahushai, the tabernacle of King David is not going to be boring. And there's things that we have to understand, that here we are in this carnal world where Esau has been given power on the left-hand side to mimic that which is already existent on the right-hand side and up in the heavens where the Most High sits. Going back really quick into the analogy of television, broadcasting, radio, which is what is television and radio? It's sound waves, right? And television is visual. It's a visual movements in your eye gate, and the sounds of radio and television go into your ear gate. Well, what is a prophet? What is an Israelite man? What are the Israelites? We are the sons of the power, correct? And the elect are what? We are prophets, correct? And how do we prophesy? We see and hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. We see, we receive literal vision, and then we get instruction on how to articulate that vision. We hear a download, a stream, a river of fire from the Most High sent to us through Yahushai, and at the commandment of Yahushai to an angel, to a host, to then come and give us the interpretation or the understanding or the skill of that vision, right? So I'm going to go into just a really quick. Many of you are. This is First Ezra chapter 3. So First Ezra chapter 3 and chapter 4 goes into 3 Israelite men who are in the. I believe this is the captivity. It's the Medes and the Persians, and there's a heathen king that's in power, and these 3 men they're already in the government system. They're already, I believe, they're like guards for the king, and they come up with a challenge amongst themselves. Which 3 of them could speak a wise sentence that the king will accept, and whoever wins gets the prize. I'm just paraphrasing it. So all 3 of them go into wine, women, and let me see. The first wrote. So this is verse 10. First Ezra chapter 3 verse 10. Let me come up a little bit. Let me just read a little bit, okay? Because I'm trying to condense this, but it's a lot of information. So verse 5, let every one of us speak. Okay, let me start at Salakia, gentlemen. This is verse 4, okay? Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another. Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others. So all of them are going to speak wisdom, but one of them is going to be wiser, right? Unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. Okay, and this is verse 7, and he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius's cousin. And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius's pillow. All right, and said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and of those and on whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge that his sentence is the wisest, to him shall the victory be given, as was appointed. The first wrote, wine is strongest. The second wrote, the king is strongest. And the third wrote, women are strongest. But above all things, truth beareth away the victory. Now, these 3 topics on a physical level: wine, physical wine, actual alcohol, Alcohol that gets you drunk, that makes you feel better. The second rule, the king is strongest, an actual ruler, a man of authority in the earth. And then third, women are strongest. Actual women, the beauty of a woman, the curves of her body, her face, the way they feel when you lay with them, all of that, right? Physical. Now, there also is a spiritual wine. There's a spiritual king, and there's also spiritual women. And we understand that those wines and those women, they can be left or right, whorish or bride, depending on the doctrine or the philosophy, correct? So this gets really deep, and all three of these guys go into their statements. All of them say true stuff, but the last gentleman that speaks about women and the truth, he takes everybody's statement and everybody's wisdom and then submits it under the truth and exalts the truth. And we all understand that the truth is Yahushai. And when Yahushai comes, when he is set over the earth, he will put everything and all things in order, and everything will be in its harmony the way it's supposed to be, right? I'm only showing this. And how did these gentlemen get their wisdom to even do this? This is a very good story, you guys. I'm doing a horrible job paraphrasing this. I suggest you guys read First Ezra chapter 3 and First Ezra chapter 4. It is deep. It is so awesome. And the end result, remember how they started, right? Because this is part of it. Let me go back up here. Let every one of us speak a sentence, verse 5. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall esteem. Let me jump down. Verse 6. As to be clothed in purple. So the prize was what? Exaltation, wealth, prestige, honor. Why? Because of your wisdom, because of your face shining, you get exalted, right? And that is a perk. It is a perk to be like Joseph, to be able to be in the prison system, to be on the low estate, and then you can interpret dreams, and you get brought before Pharaoh. Pharaoh has a dream. You interpret Pharaoh's dream in a way none of the wise men in his council can, and then you get exalted to a high place, and then you get to marry Asenath, a really fine wife, and have children, Ephraim and Manasseh. No, I don't know an Israelite man that does not want that. That is all, and then it goes into, I believe, what is it? Is it Ecclesiasticus, the cheap things of life, wood and oil and honey and a roof over your head and fire, stuff like that. That's what everybody wants, right? So we see in verse 6, to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. And he shall sit next to Darius, verse 7, because of his wisdom. Wisdom is the key factor in all of this, you guys. And shall be called Darius his cousin. That's social prestige, to be called a family member or someone close to the king, even if you guys aren't even national relatives, because of your wisdom. There isn't somebody that doesn't want that. Now, these guys aren't talking about selling out. They're going to continue in their heritage. They're going to continue as Israelites. They're just in captivity right now. So this is how it starts out, and they do end up getting this, but look how it ends. Really quick. This is the end of all they're giving their speech. All three of them explain why they believe what they believe. All three of them have a wisdom, but the last guy brings it completely home. He expounds upon all of the wisdoms, and then he submits everything under Yahushai by exalting the truth. It's amazing. Look at the ending. Now, when this young man was gone forth, he lifted up his face to heaven. Wait. He speaks. Let me see. Hold on real quick. So look at this. Okay, so he wins the challenge, right? Okay, so look. He's at the end of his speech in 35. Is he not great that maketh these things? Talking about the truth. Therefore, great is the truth, and stronger than all things. All the earth crieth upon the truth, and the heavens blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked. He puts everything in its place. All the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. As for the truth, Yahushai and the wisdom, it endureth, and it always is strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things, and all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgments is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the power of truth. So that's the Father Yahweh, and that's Yahushai and his wisdom, right? And with that, he held his peace, and all the people then shouted and said, great is truth and mighty above all things. And now remind you, this is not the whole of Yasharallah. I believe the setting is they're in Babylon. One of you more seasoned brothers can hear me say this. If I'm incorrect on this, I greatly invite and receive the correction. I'm attempting to explain some of this, but I know that they're in captivity. We're not in our sovereignty. We're not a complete nation right now. We're going through one of our captivities. Then said the king unto him, ask what thou wilt. Now look at this, you guys. Ask what thou wilt, more than is appointed in the writing. I'm going to give it to you, and he will give it thee, because thou art found wisest. So wisdom, which is given to the Israelites, is the reason why this man's about to be super exalted. And thou shalt sit next to me, and shalt be called my cousin. Look at the response. Now remember, in chapter 3, they were talking about gold and sleeping on gold, right? And being decked out, which is what everybody wants, right? Look at verses 5 and 6. Remember this. The prize was supposed to be, and you do get these things, but look at this. So 5 and 6, let every one of us who speaks a sentence, he that shall overcome, go down to 6, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with his bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and chains about his neck, and shall be called the cousin of Darius. So you see all this, right? And that's the bling, that's the money, that's the social prestige, and that comes with this. But why? Look at this. The end of this chapter right here, this is how this man, so now the king is saying, I'm going to give whatever you ask and more, right? 42. Then said the king unto him, ask what thou wilt, more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it to thee, because thou art found wisest, and thou shalt sit next to me, and shalt be called thy cousin. Now also this king, though he's a heathen king, he still is also a type and shadow of the Most High. Can you receive that? Now look at the request of this last Israelite man, this Judite, when he speaks to the king. Then said he unto the king, remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned, when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees. And now, O Lord the King, this is that which I require, and which I desire of thee. And this is the princely liberty proceeding from thyself. I desire, therefore, that thou make good the vow, the performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him, and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convey on their way both him and all those that go up with him to build Jerusalem. And isn't that what we are doing right now, you guys? As prophets, as apostles, as listeners to the prophets and apostles, as the hopeful elect, bidding in the hopeful elect to the marriage supper of the Lamb, we are being set in order. The chief thing is what? The reestablishment, or the establishment of the temple, the New Jerusalem, under Yahushai, the tabernacle of David, King David, right? He wrote letters also unto the lieutenants that were at Cleosyria and Phoenice, and unto them in Libanus, that they should bring cedar wood from Libanus unto Jerusalem, and that they should build the city with him. Moreover, he wrote for all of the Jews that went out of his realm up into Jewry concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors. So he's also providing legal protection for them. This is that covering, the thawah, so to speak, in the future with Jacob's trouble. There's going to be a mark of exemption on the elect, right? And that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages. That goes, and now we also know we have an enemy, just like we had an enemy back in these days. In the ancient world, we have the same fucking enemy today, and he's named by name. Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews which they held, and everything that we have is in possession of their hands, right? So you can read the rest of this, but then I want to go down these highlights parts. Let's go down to 58. Look at this. Now when this young man was gone forth, he lifted up his face to heaven toward Jerusalem, and praised the King of heaven, and said, From thee cometh victory, from thee cometh wisdom, and thine is the glory, and I am thy servant. Doesn't it sound so similar to the prayer that Yahushua gave us in the New Testament? Blessed art thou who hast given me wisdom. For to thee I give thanks, O Lord of our fathers. And so he took the letters and went out and came unto Babylon and told it all to his brethren, and they praised the power of the Most High of their fathers, because he had given them freedom and liberty to go up and to build Jerusalem and the temple which is called by his name, and they feasted with instruments of music and gladness in 7 days. So the end goal of all of this was not just the bling, 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 even though they got that. It was the building of our house. It was the building of the temple. Now look, I got a couple more precepts before I end this, and I'm gonna shut it down. Look at this, you guys. That was me looking for this story. So so I'm going to go into Wisdom of Solomon 7. So again, yesterday we were talking about streaming. Daniel 7, verse 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, talking about the Most High, and thousands ministered unto him, talking about the Alahayim, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set and the books were opened, okay? So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the Spirit of the Most High. And then we got Yahushai in his lot as King Solomon in his younger days, in his youth, Jedediah, the son of David, the son of David going in, just breaking down the levels of the spirit of wisdom in song, in poetic song. And look at this in Wisdom of Solomon 7. I'm going to start with verse 23. Kind to man, talking about wisdom is kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things. Chew on that. The spirit of wisdom oversees everything and going through all understanding. Wisdom supernaturally, quantum physically, spiritually travels through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. Try to get your mind around that. She passes and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. Behold, I make all things new, spoken in the book of Revelation. Bam. And in all ages, in all worlds, entering into holy souls, just like we see in this story with these three men. This is the ancient world. She entered into their souls. Why? Because they're Israelite men. They're of the elect. And she moved them three to approach the king to speak wisdoms about different topics. And the last man brought it all home, gets the favor of the king to then what? Reestablish Jerusalem, to rebuild the temple, to rebuild our house again. So look at this. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. For the power, for the Most High, Yahweh, loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. There goes your exclusivity for the love of the Most High again. Only the Israelites can get love from the Most High. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. Wisdom, and I believe if you go into Ecclesiasticus, there's a deep, dark saying where wisdom. So here you have Yahweh Shai speaking about wisdom at this level in the Song of Solomon as King Solomon. But then you go into Ecclesiasticus, and I believe there's a chapter in there where it's Yahweh Shai is wisdom. It's like, oh my gosh, this is and I'm gonna say this. I want to apologize right now if I'm butchering this, but I believe this is what the Spirit is showing me. So lambacking or speaking about what happened yesterday at camp and some of the statements that were brought up about people saying, oh, the kingdom's going to be boring, or people thinking that the kingdom's going to be boring. No. When you're like this right here, you got the fiery stream issuing and coming from the one sitting on the throne. Well, this is that fiery stream explained right here. This is just some of it. This isn't the completion. This isn't the sum. This is a sliver. Try to comprehend. This is a sliver in a huge fiber optic, like of Yahweh's wisdom, his power, what's coming out of him. And this is Yahweh Shai as King Solomon explaining it, making it palatable, bringing it to a comprehensive level. And I'm telling you right now, he's just scratching the surface. He's just scratching the surface. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, and the thousands ministered. And all of this traffic going back and forth to what? To build the kingdom. We're going to be building the kingdom. We're going to be having people build the kingdom. The Most High is going to be building us, which is also part of the stones in the kingdom. It's just going crazy. So I'm going to leave this at that. I just wanted to get this up into the internet, up into the unicorn, so other people can hear it. I pray that this was edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. And I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of whom I learn from, and a shalom to the hopefully elect, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth. This is your brother, Radal. Shalom.